When I was in the military in Gangwon Province, it was the middle of summer and I was working hard every day. It was a stressful time during my military service. I was eagerly waiting for the monsoon season to arrive, and indeed, the monsoon came. However, that year the rain was extremely heavy, and the village experienced a flood of such magnitude that it was like a deluge. But because it rained so much, landslides occurred, causing even more hardships. The monsoon seemed relentless, with no signs of stopping. Due to the excessive rainfall, the village suffered from severe flooding. The sky seemed to have its own plans, and we couldn't do much to stop it. Houses were washed away, people went missing, and livestock and vehicles were swept away. It was astonishing that anyone managed to survive. The flooding was severe, but eventually, the rain stopped. In order to restore the village, rescue teams and firefighters joined the efforts, but we were still short of manpower. So, we also pitched in to help. The most urgent task at hand was finding the bodies. The area was submerged in water to the point where it was difficult to distinguish between land and water. We rowed boats and organized search teams to look for the bodies. I teamed up with my senior and we wandered around aimlessly, swinging our tools and looking around. A day passed, then two, and the search operation continued. On the fourth day, we followed the same route for our work. Since the neighborhood was rural, there were many weeds, and we had to navigate through them as we worked. However, among those weeds, I noticed some unusually dark ones. They didn't quite resemble regular weeds. I stopped the boat and approached them slowly, and in an instant, a chill ran down my spine. It seemed like they were human hair. The closer I got, the more certain I became. But since I had never seen a drowned body before, nor had I encountered such a situation, I couldn't be entirely sure of my judgment. I decided to tell my senior about it. "What is it?" "I think I found a body." "What are you talking about?" "I'm certain about what I saw." "Where is the body?" I guided my senior to the location by rowing the boat. My senior seemed momentarily flustered, lost in thought, and then casually spoke. "That's not a body, let's go." "I'm sure it's a body. Isn't it unusual to have dark weeds like that?" "What do you know?" I said, "It's not. Let's just go." "No, wouldn't it be better to check and confirm by pulling it out?" I said, "No, how many times do I have to say it?" "I know, let's just go." "Still, I think we should at least try to pull it out and see." "Hey, you son of a bitch. If I say let's go, then we go, damn it." Suddenly, my senior exploded in anger and shouted at me. I simply suggested trying to retrieve it, but he vehemently denied it and became enraged. What power do I have? If my senior says we go, then we go. With a lack of strength, I continued to row, trying to finish the work. Then my senior spoke again. "I'm sorry for cursing. It's not a big deal, so don't worry about it. If it bothers you, you can ask the firefighters over there to confirm." It was strange for my naturally tormenting senior to apologize for cursing over something insignificant. He seemed either shocked or frightened, with a peculiar expression on his face, frozen like someone who had witnessed something unbearable. As we were on our way to assist in the village recovery efforts, we encountered firefighters. My senior lit a cigarette and suggested we continue, so a few members from our unit, along with the firefighters, gathered together, smoking and engaging in casual conversation. In the midst of that, I brought up the topic of the dark weeds that resembled a body, the one I had seen earlier. However, in that situation, perhaps they didn't take it as a serious matter. Everyone wore ambiguous expressions, as if they knew something, and tried to change the subject. But then, one firefighter asked for a rough description of the location. So, I explained the location to him. That seemed to put my mind at ease, and we all went our separate ways to continue our work, eventually returning to our unit. However, I couldn't shake off the strange feeling that kept slipping away from my mind as I fell asleep, leaving me in a state of uncertainty. The next day, I woke up with that peculiar feeling lingering in my mind, and as expected, we went out for search operations from the morning. Since everyone gathered at the same site to start our work, we headed in that direction. The atmosphere seemed different, more serious than usual, as if they were engaged in a grave conversation. I also managed to join in and listen to what they were discussing. The moment I heard their conversation, it felt like I had been struck on the head with a hammer. It turned out that one firefighter had gone missing during the search operation yesterday. I asked the firefighters if they knew who it was since I was familiar with their faces. It turned out to be the same person who had asked me about the location of the body like weeds yesterday. We had been smoking together until yesterday, and now to hear that he had gone missing, it didn't feel real. In the midst of the flooded disaster area, the realization struck me that people were not just missing, but they had died. However, my senior's complexion turned pale. When I asked if he was feeling unwell, he suddenly pulled me aside to a secluded place. With a pale face, he spoke to me. "Hey, were you certain that it was a human corpse? Did you see the face of the body?" I replied, "No, I only saw something that looked like hair." Senior responded, "I see. You only saw the hair and not the face." After thinking for about 5 minutes, Senior opened his mouth again. "Hey, our family believes in those things, you know, fortune-telling and such. My aunt is a fortune-teller, so our family has been heavily involved in those practices. But during high school, there were incidents where people kept dying in the river in front of our house, so my aunt performed rituals. But after the rituals, my aunt told me something." Senior paused his words and continued. "If you ever come across a human corpse while playing near the river or stream, never touch it under any circumstances." Not understanding fully, I asked again. "That's why I told you to first observe how the body is positioned if you come across one. Human corpses. They don't stand straight in the water. They can't stand upright. They would be twisted or floating sideways, so that the face is visible." "But you said you only saw the hair." Senior started explaining again. "It's a water ghost. A human corpse can't be like that. Unlike the spirits that can ascend to the sky after death, water ghosts. People call it the water ghost operation. It's literal. They need to fill their own place before they can ascend." In that moment, I froze. I finally realized that Senior knew it was a water ghost in that situation, and he knew that it should never be touched. That's why he cursed and got angry with me, trying to prevent me from touching it, even going to such lengths. However, it was Senior's first time actually witnessing it, so he couldn't tell me right away. And as luck would have it, the firefighter who asked about the corpse's location heard about the disappearance during the search operation yesterday, so he couldn't help but be shocked. Several days passed, and the floodwaters receded. Except for the damaged houses, the village had regained its appearance. However, that firefighter remained missing. After my discharge, whenever I went on summer vacation to that area, I would pass by and the incident would come to mind. So, I asked the local residents, just in case. But they said that drowning accidents continued to occur despite numerous rituals and exorcisms. Could there really be a water ghost?